For the month of March, I did have a slight dip in my reselling sales numbers. Not so much on Poshmark, but on eBay and Mercari, sales did drop a little bit. I have some theories as to why this may have happened, which we're going to talk about. And as usual, we're going to discuss the fast, high profit sales of the month, including one of my highest sales ever. We'll go over slow, low profit sales as well. There are many items that I lost money on this month. Also, I have some noteworthy brands and styles to share with you that have been doing great for me lately. And we'll wrap up the video with the final breakdown of all the sales numbers along with many lessons learned. Starting with the highest profit sales of the month, the first on the list are these pair of Tecovas calfskin leather Western cowgirl boots. They sold on Poshmark for $184. My profit was $140.34. And the days listed was 8 days. I shared these boots in a shoe haul that I recorded a few videos back, which I will link in a card up above if you want to check it out. In that video, I mentioned how I was so iffy about the boots. I was unsure if it was going to pay off. I paid about $35 for these boots. I normally do not pay that much for an item, but it ended up paying off. I'm so glad that I took the risk because now this sale goes down as my highest sale to date ever. That's the most I've ever made in a single sale. Western boots are really becoming my favorite category and style to sell. They just have so much potential for high profit. Second high profit sale on the list are these Veronica Beard high-rise army green cargo chino pants. They sold on Poshmark for $89. The profit there was $66.20 and they were listed for 46 days. This was my second time finding this brand, Veronica Beard. Both times I've been able to get it for like $2 to $3. Thrift stores don't know about it, so they usually don't price it up. At least the thrift stores around here in my area. But shoppers on Poshmark, Mercari, eBay do know about this brand, so it's a great brand to be on the lookout for. I believe that this was even the lower end sub-brand of Veronica Beard. It was called Veronica Beard Jeans, and it still ended up doing really good. Third on the list, we have some more Western boots. These Tony Llama Western leather pointed toe cowgirl boots. They sold for $77 again on Poshmark, and the final profit was $54.35. The days listed was 9 days. Both the boots that I've shared with you sold in a little bit over a week, so not that long. The actual cost of goods for these was like $25 to $27, but I felt a little bit more confident paying up for these once I had seen that the other ones did really good. I'm telling you, it really pays off to learn about these Western cowboy boots brands. I think most people pass them up at the thrift stores because they're usually priced higher than other things there. But if you know what they tend to sell for, then you can take advantage of that, snatch them up, list them, and get them sold for high prices. If you want to learn more about cowboy boots brands, I will link a video in the description and in the card up above. It's by another YouTuber who makes reselling videos. Her name is Amber Resells. She recently made a video all about cowboys boots brands that sell well. I think that video is mostly dedicated to men's cowboy boots, but that easily translates into boots that do well for women. So go check out that video so you can learn more about this category. Moving along, in fourth place, we have some Rockies Vintage Western high-rise mom jeans. These sold for $51 on Poshmark. The profit was $36.23 and they sold in 2 days. I sold Rockies a few times before. I can always find them at the thrift stores for really low amounts, like $2 to $3. They just do not value them that much. And I got lucky at the thrift store on this day that I found these because I found 3 in a row. They were all the same size, all the same style, and so it was so easy to just get 3 listings up at once. This is the only pair that has sold so far. The other 2 are still sitting in my closet, but in the past that's usually been the case. They do take a little bit to sell, like over a month to 2 months, and they always end up selling for $45 to $55. This pair right here sold a lot sooner than that. It just happened to find the right buyer real quick. Moving on to the 5th high profit sale. Finally, a sale that's not on Poshmark. This one happened on eBay, and it was these Untitled Taylor Loft over the knee equestrian riding buckle boots. They sold for $47.45. The final profit was $22.51 and they sold in 13 days. So many things to take note of here. First is that most of my high profit sales are always shoes, and a lot of the time they're these Western styles. So that aesthetic is still going strong, still selling pretty good on these reselling platforms. Another thing to take note of, Ann Taylor Loft is a cheap mall brand and it still ended up performing really well. So it's not always about the brand. Sometimes things can sell based on styles, especially when it comes to these tall riding equestrian boots. The next high sale were these Dansko multicolor slip-on nursing shoes. They sold for $45. The final profit was $32.85 and they were listed for 22 days. For these, the cost of goods was only $3. I found them at the Goodwill bins. That was the one and only time I've ever been, and I actually found 2 pairs of these Danskos that day. They were just in different prints. Both pairs had one shoe that was in excellent condition, and then the other shoe had some wear along the top like collar portion of the shoe. That's why I decided to just pick the best print and only get 1 pair. But now I regret it because this ended up selling pretty good, pretty fast, even with some wear. The 7th and final high profit sale we'll talk about is this Speed and Strength full zip motorcycle jacket. It sold for $43 on Poshmark. The final profit was $28.52 and it took 123 days to sell. This sale took the longest to sell in this high profit section. I did find a stock photo after I had listed it, so I was meaning to go back, relist it, add the stock photo, and just make the whole listing better. If I would have done that, maybe I could have gotten a little more for it. I just never got around to it. I've just been prioritizing relisting summer items instead. So when I received this offer, I just went ahead and saved me the whole trouble of relisting it and accepted that offer. Now let's move on to some sales that did not do so well. They did not leave that much profit. The first one on the list is this Disney tie-dye Lilo and Stitch graphic short sleeve shirt. It sold on Mercari for $10. I offered free shipping with it, and so my final profit was only 43 cents and it took a total of 190 days to sell. I picked this shirt up because in the past Disney stuff did well for me. It was probably like $1.50 to $2, but that just goes to show that not all Disney stuff does good, and being that this was a lightweight kids item did not help much either. Next we have some Heelys lace-up youth grow rollerblade skate shoes. They sold on Poshmark for $11. Final profit was negative 95 cents and they were listed for 294 days. I remember these shoes were all the rage when I was younger, so maybe nostalgia played a big role in why I picked these up. That was a terrible mistake. I started the listing at like $35. I relisted on all platforms many times. Nothing was making them budge. It took me dropping the price down to $11 to get them moving. Third low profit sale is this Athleta nylon racerback athletic tank top. It sold on Mercari for $11. The profit was $5.28 and it took a total of 203 days to sell. This sold the day after I relisted it, and although the profit is not as terrible as the last two, I'm starting to accept that Athleta tank tops or any kind of athletic tank tops don't do that well. They sit for long periods of times and they end up selling for low amounts, so I'm starting to skip most of what I see at the thrift stores nowadays. And this next sale just proves that point. It is this Victoria's Secret pink tie-dye logo tank top. It sold on Mercari for $12. I offered free shipping just to try to get it sold. The profit was negative $2.25. The days listed was 134. The reason why I ended up losing money on this sale is because the cost of goods is pretty high at $8.92. I would never pay that much for a lightweight tank top like this one, but I ended up with it because it came in a Jamar wholesale box. When I share my low profit sales, my Jamar items end up in this category. Hence why I have not ordered a box from them anymore. It's just really discouraging to see some of the items sit for a long time and sell for such low amounts and losing money on some of the items. It's just really not worth it for me. I would like to find a new company to order from where I can see better results. If you have any suggestions, let me know, because I do like the idea of receiving inventory straight to your door and just having more ways of sourcing, but Jamar is just not it for me. Fifth on the list, we have a Tommy Hilfiger small canvas crossbody bag. It sold on Poshmark for $12. The final profit was $9.05. and this was sitting for 82 days. The only things that I have found do well from the Tommy Hilfiger brand are tall equestrian boots. Even some kids boots do well. The thick outerwear or Y2K chunky heels. Other than that, most Tommy Hilfiger stuff just sits forever and sells for really low amounts. The only thing that saved me with this item is that my cost of goods was not that much. Otherwise, I would have been in the red with this sale. Number 6, we have another Athleta item. It was these black crop athletic leggings. They sold on eBay for $12. My final profit, I lost money, $4.95. And these were listed for 282 days. Athleta is not a bad brand by any means. I've sold many of their stuff for like $35 to $40. This right here is just the perfect representation of what not to pick up by Athleta. I paid $10 for these crop leggings. That is way too much to pay for a simple item like this by that brand. They were extra small, which don't do as good, and they were cropped. Now, if you find something that is a total opposite of that, if they're full-length leggings, if they're a recent style, if they're a little bit of a bigger size, then you have a good item on your hands. Last on the list, we have an American Eagle distressed blue jean mini skirt with the fray hem. This sold on Poshmark for $12. The final profit was $4.05, and it was listed for 288 days. I think this sold for so little because that was an older American Eagle tag. Plus, the skirt was damaged. It had some ripping down by the hem. I got an offer on this thing for $10 since last summer, but I countered back with a little bit more, which she then declined, and I ended up selling it 288 days later for just $2 more. I knew this skirt was flawed. I knew it was an older style. I should have just took the $10 offer way back then. But let's move on to some better news. We're going to talk about 7 sales that sold really fast. First on the list, I have some Clarks Collection soft cushion flat comfort sandals. They sold on eBay for $27 plus shipping. The profit was $16.64, and these sandals sold within hours of listing them. As you know, Clarks is one of my best-selling brands, so when I saw these and they were in good condition, I decided to pick them up. Also, I've noticed that things with the flower embellishment do really well during the spring-summer seasons. I expected them to sit for a little bit since they were a smaller size at a 6.5, but thankfully they found their buyer really quick. The next fast selling item happened on Poshmark. It was these Calcingia suede leather lace-up ankle boots. They sold for $34. My final profit was $21.85, and these also sold within hours of listing. I've picked up this style of lace-up boots with the chunky block heel many times before. From what I remember, they always seem to perform really well. Third on the list, we have some Olukai V-strap toe post summer comfort flat sandals with an adjustable buckle. I be stuffing the crap out of these titles with as many keywords as I can get in there. These sold on Poshmark for $32. My final profit was $16.92, and they sold in 1 day. This brand is definitely one to add to your summer Bolo list. I've only sold it a few times, but every time it seems to sell really fast and for a decent sales amount too, for it being lightweight sandals. I talked about this brand in my last video where I shared a thrift haul filled with spring and summer sandals and dresses, skirts, and all sorts of things that I look for during the season. So if you want to learn more about summer Bolo brands, things that do well right now, go check out that thrift haul. Next on the list, we have some more Dansko shoes. These are some Dansko Savannah black leather Mary Jane clogs. These sold on Mercari for $36. The final profit was $25.06, and these sold the first day that I listed them. I have tried other Dansko styles like tennis shoes, and I've also tried some boots. They never seem to do as well as these clogs. Clogs always seem to sell within days of listing. Number 5 is a sale that happened on Mercari. It was these Logo by Lori Goldstein lounge pullover tunic sweater top with a cow neck. It sold for $19. My final profit was $11.68. And it also sold in one day. I'm almost positive that size had a lot to do as to why this sold so quick. It was a 1X, I believe, because I have a lot of other logo pieces just sitting in my closet, and all of those are smaller sizes. But this piece also had other things going for it. It was this soft, stretchy jersey knit material. It was a pretty Kelly green color, and it was just a casual lounge type piece. Next, we have a vintage Banana Republic faded cotton jumper. This sold on Mercari for $35. The final profit was $25.43, and it was only listed for one day. I don't know much about vintage, but when I saw the tag on this dress, it instantly stood out to me. It just looked unique and old school. I did look it up. There wasn't that many comps to go off of. I saw one dress on Etsy listed for over $70. I saw one on Poshmark that had sold for around the price range that I sold mine at. But overall, I'm happy with how the sale went. I could have listed it for higher and waited for a longer time for the sale. Sometimes it's better to just list things at a good price and get them sold fast. Then we have an lace boho floral lace woven mini shift dress. It sold on Mercari for $21. The final profit here was $13.23, and it was also listed for just one day. These are the type of pieces that I like to pick up and list. It was a plus size at a 1X. It had some lace, it was boho, and it really helped that I found some stock photos too. But now we're moving on to some items that took way too long to sell. The first slow moving item on the list is this Free People Star Floral Print Wrap Tunic. It sold on eBay for $20. My final profit after shipping and fees and everything was $6.11. And this thing right here took 351 days to sell. So almost a year. I used to pick up any and all Free People that I saw at the store, mostly because a lot of the times I can find it for $2 to $3, but it's not worth it even at that low of a price, because a year later I'm still trying to get rid of this stuff. I know that some Free People still sells and a lot of it for good money, but for me it's still just very hit or miss. Sometimes I'll pick up something and it sells really good, really fast, and other times it has the same fate as this one. I think I'll be better off just sticking to the same criteria that I apply to other brands like Knox Rose, Altered State. Stick to the larger sizes and stick to things that are more trendy, embroidered with lace and things like that. Next we have some White Mountain heeled sandals with a peep toe. They sold on eBay for $18. My final profit after everything was only $3.81, and these took 315 days to sell. I did really good with this brand this past winter. They also have a sub-brand called Cliffs by White Mountain. I sold their fur-lined boots, their combat boots really well. I don't know where these heels went wrong. Maybe the only things that do well by them are boots. I will definitely be a lot more careful when it comes to heels by this brand. Next are some more sandals. These are by Earth Origins. There were some leather comfort sandals that sold on eBay for $14. For some reason, I don't have the final profit listed here in my notes, so I'll just add it here when I'm editing. but these sold in 310 days. Again, same thing as with the last brand. I've sold this brand in boots before and they ended up performing okay. These sandals did have some wear. Maybe if I would have started the listing at a lower amount, they could have sold faster. The fourth low profit sale are these Hispanitas black suede leather pumps. They sold on Mercari for $25. The profit was $15.56 and they took a total of 310 days to sell. This was when I was still in my learning phase and learning to pick up things based on style. I thought these were unique enough to do good, but I was totally wrong. That's why when I speak to beginners, people who are just starting to resell, I always advise that unless they know fashion beforehand, they avoid picking things up based on style. Because even now, me that I kind of learned a little bit more about it, I still make mistakes and I end up having some flops. Number 5 on the list are these Kohan slip-on zip suede loafer shoes. They sold on eBay for $16. The final profit was $1.65 and the days listed was 301. Again, this was when I was just beginning. I have the days listed as 301, but I'm pretty sure it was a lot more than that because I have relisted them since then. Not all Kohan does bad. There are some styles that can flip pretty good, but this was just an outdated style. And I started this listing at $38, which is way too much for something simple, a small size, and an outdated style like this one. Number 6, we have some 7 for All Mankind dark wash row hem shorts. They sold on Poshmark for $15. The final profit was $9.32. And the days listed was 284. I picked these up when 7 for All Mankind was doing really good for me. Their jeans, their cut off skirts, and their shorts were all selling really good. They would flip really fast. But things have changed since then. Nowadays, I'm being really picky with what I pick up from this brand. I make sure that the sizes are a little bit larger and that I'm not paying up that much for them. They're just not selling as good, except for their dojo jeans. Those right there are an instant pickup as long as they're in good condition. Those will flip fast and for high amounts too. Final low profit sale was this Cabby Folklore Floral Ruffle Blouse. It sold on Poshmark for $20. My final profit was $14 and it took 269 days to sell. The profit was not terrible, but the days listed was. Cabby is also another brand that I used to pick up a lot more often, but have slowed down a lot on it, mostly because their items tend to sit for a long time like this one. I still do pick it up here and there, but I try to stick to jeans in large sizes and in trendy styles like boyfriend jeans, straight jeans, maybe some distressed ones. Those can do well, and some unique long maxi dresses. Those still perform pretty well too. Now let's talk about 3 noteworthy brands. I'm switching it up now. I used to talk about brands that sold the most for the month, but they end up being the same brands over and over. The Clarks, the Torrid, the Toms, the Bourne, all those just stay at the top all the time. So I thought I'd switch things up, and this gives me room to talk about some brands that may not be the most selling items of the month, but they're noteworthy because maybe they're new to me, maybe they're performing better than before, maybe I'm starting to find them a lot more around my area or with new sourcing ways. That's why I decided to switch it up. Starting off with the first brand, it's called Eloquii. I had 3 sales by this brand this month. They were all tops, and they all sold within 1 to 3 days. The average sales price for this brand this month was $18.08. Eloquii is a plus size brand that I am starting to become more and more fond of because of how well it performs, and just because I love picking up plus size pieces just to add some more of that into my closet. They always sell really well. I've been finding this brand more and more lately in the thrift stores that I go to. Usually it's priced anywhere between $2 to $3, and the average sale price is low for this month because they were tops, But in the past, I have sold some blazers and a pair of jeans by them that sold for a little bit more money than that. Next, we have a brand that I also just started picking up. It's called Vanelli. I sold 2 pair of sandals by them this month. They both sold within the week. And the average sale price for these sandals was $22.88. Vanelli is an Italian-inspired brand that makes all sorts of shoes, comfy flats, sandals, boots. Their main thing is comfort. On their website, I did see that they do have high retail prices, over $100, in the $150 sometimes. Unfortunately, on the resale sites, they are a lot lower than that. On Poshmark, the comps are showing anywhere from $15, sometimes up to $24, $25. Their more substantial pieces do a lot better. As with all other brands, the high quality boots, those will get you more money. But for the most part, it is going to be within the $15 to $24 range. So I did like picking up this brand. I do like their styles. Even for myself, I'd like to shop on their website. So I will continue to look out for it and pick it up. Next, we have not really a brand, more of a style, and it's vintage dresses. I sold 3 vintage items, but only 2 of them were dresses this month. And again, I forgot to put the average sale price in my notes, but if I had to guess, it was maybe like $25 to $27. And both the dresses that sold really fast. I will pick up these kind of dresses all year long, but mostly in the summer. This is a category that I like to focus on because that's when they tend to sell the most. I just look out for mostly long maxi floral dresses that have like a cottagecore vibe, old school looking with the padded shoulders sometimes. Even if the brand is not something that I recognize, even if it's not a good brand, if it fits that style profile, I will pick it up because brand doesn't really play that big of a role for people who are looking for those kind of dresses. Now let's discuss the final sales numbers. The total sales for the month of March were $3,904. The total earnings were $2,925, and the cost of goods for everything that sold this month was $843. The profit after cost of goods, after shipping fees and everything, was $2,086. The only thing that stayed about the same was the amount that I paid for cost of goods this month. Other than that, everything else dropped by like $600 to $700. Breaking that down by platform, on Poshmark I sold a total of $2,305. On eBay it was $773. And Mercari was $826. So Poshmark stayed pretty much the same. $2,300 is about average. But on Mercari and on eBay, I didn't even break the $1,000 mark. And I think that is because I did not stay on top of listing this month. There was a period in time where I went 6 days without listing. That is a long time not to list. And these other 2 platforms, eBay and Mercari, are most affected when I don't list, especially Mercari. That one tends to take a big nosedive as soon as I stop listing. Also, on Mercari, I would usually go and drop prices using their promote feature. I do that every evening and I haven't been on top of that lately. As well as on eBay, I would go and relist items every single day, items that were about to end, because there the items are listed for 30 days. If they don't sell, they are renewed. So before they would renew, I would go and relist them. But again, I have not been on top of that either. So those are some of the reasons as to why I think the sales have dropped over there a bit. But the biggest factor is that I was not listing as much. I only listed 144 items this month. That's an average of about 4 to 5 listings a day. For the longest time, my goal has been to keep the average daily listings at about 7, or at least 200 new listings a month. For some reason or another, I have not been able to be consistent with that. But to make that happen right now, what I'm doing is trying to find new ways to source, because if I want to do 7 listings a day or 200 a month, I need a lot of inventory to keep up with that. And also, I'm trying to get my listings done first thing in the morning. Before I work on anything else, I'm listing the 7 daily items. I do notice that I get a lot more same day sales if I list in the afternoon, but I know if I leave it till later in the day, it's just not going to get done. So for me, it's a lot more important to get it done than to try to list in the afternoon to try to get faster sales. Total items sold for the month was 151. That's an average of 4 to 5 a day. It's surprising that my total items sold for the month did not change a whole lot. It's pretty consistent with what it's been in the past months. And it's surprising because I wasn't listing as much or being as active on Mercari and eBay. The thing that did change though was the average sales price. All the items that sold were at an average of $25.86. That is an $8 decrease from what it's been in the past, and that is just because we exited the winter season where I sell much bulkier things like the boots and the thicker outerwear. But this is the reason why it's so imperative for me to stay on top of my listing game, because now that I am selling more lightweight things that sell for less money, I need to list a lot more so that I can sell a lot more, so that I can compensate for that and continue to hit my monthly goals. The only thing that saved me a little bit this month was that my average cost of goods dropped a little bit. It was $5.66. During the winter, my average cost of goods was more at like $8. So even though my average sale price did drop this month, so did the average cost of goods. So that kind of makes up for it. And that is why I had a slight dip in numbers and not a major one, because the items that I'm picking up are more lightweight and so they cost a lot less, leaving a little bit more room for profit. Overall this month, it was not too bad. I am going to work on fixing the things that I pointed out in this video. So fingers crossed that I can report next month better sales and that the slight dip does not carry over into next month. In the comments down below, let me know, how has March been for you? Have your sales increased or decreased? And here to the side, I will leave a playlist filled with many more monthly reselling reports if you want to check those out. Thank you so much for stopping by my channel today, and I'll see you next time.